if you're not used to me or if you're brand new. Let me make sure that actually did record. I do record the lesson, and then I post it in my Canvas. So since you're new and you don't have Canvas, I know my screen looks different than yours, but if you need to, like if you go remote for whatever reason, like let's say you have a contact with somebody who is positive for COVID, that's what this remote check-in is. It's what lets you link into my Google Meet. If you have any kind of modifications where you need to have things read to you through your Chromebook, I put that in there. It's just an extension. And then what they're doing, what we're about to do right now, is this opener. And however many sections we have, you've either done at least 10 of them or you haven't. It's basically a free daily grade. It's also a way to help us take attendance for people that are remote. Okay, and then the notes, what I just gave you, if you want to do them digitally, it'll have you make a copy. Just keep up with your notes because it should be an easy test grade at the end of each 6 weeks. So back here. All right, let's see if the board lets me write on it. It says, how many minutes old are you if you are exactly 17.5 years old? Now, I like doing the fence post, which is the same thing as the factor method. It's just, it's not all the parentheses. It's one big division line, and then you separate your factors with these up and down fence posts. Let's see if it lets me write. It does for a change. I can't go further than that. So, I'm going to have to write really small. No, I'm not. I'm going to minimize my factors. I'm going to make these smaller. I gotta have room to write. All right, that should be enough room to write. Okay, so go back. So I'm going to draw out a large line because I don't know how many steps this is going to take. I just know it's more than one. And what is the only thing that you're starting with in the question? Yeah, the 17.5 years. And where do we start filling in one of these fence posts? The top left. So I'm starting with 17.5 years, and I have to convert. So of these 4 conversion factors, what's the only one that has years in it? 1 year is how many days? Okay. And in dimensional analysis, which is just converting, you need to bring down the unit, which is years. And we said we could change it from years into what? Days. Okay, so what number goes with the year? 1. And what number goes with the day? 365. Okay, so those of you that are online, because I know you can't see me pointing, I got that from this right here. Now, that's cool. I'm not in years anymore. I'm in days, but I don't want to change it to days. I want to change it to what? Okay, so you're going to bring down days. And once I'm in days, what's the only thing I can change it into? Hours. And according to this conversion factor, it's 1 day is 24 hours. We like to do these openers with time because you're familiar with time. Okay. Awesome. I'm in hours. Have I gotten to minutes yet? Okay, so I'm going to bring down hours. And once I'm in hours, I'm going to go from hours to minutes. And the thing that, and I mean, not that I do stoichiometry for fun, I don't, but the thing that I really liked about this when I took this in college specifically is, you know that you've set it up right if everything cancels out, but this thing on the top right, which is what you're trying to solve for. It is more important in stoichiometry, and do not let the big, huge words vary. This is stoichiometry, but just not time. Stoichiometry is the term that we give for mathematics with chemistry. It's the same as this. It's just a big word that you've never heard before. It means this, it's just not time. But I liked it because everything canceled out that you were solving for. Do you need to divide by 1?
Yes.
If you divide 5 by 1, what do you get? You divide 10 by 1, what do you get? You don't have to. If it's been programmed in your brain that you have to be divided by 1 times 1 times 1, you can, but it's not going to change anything. I was always taught that you're going to cancel those out too. And you would multiply anything on the top, then you would do divided by, then if you have things on the bottom, you would open a parentheses, and you would do all those times each other, and then you would close parentheses and hit enter. Now, I know you guys are using Chromebooks. I have a lot of students that actually, I'm gonna put my cell phone up. There it is. So, Haley, Tatiana, wake up. Haley. Okay, so I don't know about your phones. I don't have an iPhone. I still have a Droid. Okay, but I use one of these guys. It is so much easier for me to use this than it is to try to type it on a Chromebook, which I personally hate Chromebooks. Where did I put you at? Bailey here. ID? That's all it is. So are you going to multiply or are you going to divide the numbers on the top? Multiply. So 17.5 times 365 times 24 times 60. And what this tells me in the calculator is that the answer is 919,800 seconds. Oh, no, not seconds, minutes. Do the sig figs match? How many sig figs are in what you're starting with?
3.
So how many should be in your answer?
34.
No, same number, 3. 919, is the 8 going to round that up?
Yes.
Which is going to round that up, right? If I put it in scientific notation, that's supposed to be a 1. 9.198 times 10 to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 power. It's easier to put that with 3 sig figs than it is for this with 3 sig figs because your brain doesn't want to do gigantic rounds. It wants to do little rounds. So it would be 9.20. I'm just going to write an E, which means times 10 to the 6th. And then it would be in minutes. That's how many minutes old you would be. Huh? Well, I mean, you can, but if you're rounding it, here, let me get rid of my dimensional analysis here. So 1, 2, 3, it would be 920. These are all zeros. 1, 1, 2, 9, 1, 9, 8, one more. But this only has 2 significant digits in it because the zeros don't count. Do y'all remember how to make that first 0 count? No. You put a line over it. And it counts that one and ones before it, in this case, but not the ones after it. These represent the same value. It's just been a while, and some of you, I don't know how well you got going in and out of scientific notation. I know that calculators will do it for you, but these do not know significant zeros. You have to be smarter than your calculator. Are we all done with the opener? You don't have your Chromebook? Tell you what, I'm going to leave this for just a second while he gets caught up. The openers do need to be done digitally. The notes, if like I said, you need to keep up with them because they are a test grade at the end of the 6 weeks.
Notes?
Mm-hmm. Well, good thing it's well, and that's, I was very lenient with those of you that transferred over because you came from a different teacher and she didn't do what I do. Hold on, I'm deleting all of this manually. Okay, online. So Alexis, Kyle, Matthew, make sure I still got all of you. All right. Luke, what's going on? That one's not here. That one's not here. Bear with me just a second while I take attendance. Braden's not here. This one's not here. Okay. But I'm going to move forward. Because I want to give you guys time to work on it in class so that when you do have a question, when you do get stuck, that, whoops, that's the wrong one. No, it's not. Hold on, let me give you a pass. Hold on, I think it's right, that's right here. All right, I'm gonna go forward then. We are doing multi-step conversions. This is notes number 10. Yes, it's really was supposed to fall in the last 6 weeks. So, and I can't remember what I did and did not black out on here. So all you have to do is determine each individual conversion factor, then link them up so everything cancels out except for what you're trying to solve for, which, because I have taught using the guess method for forever. We always called it the unknown. Guess doesn't mean close your eyes and point. But G is the given, those are the knowns, that's what you're starting with. The U is the unknown, that's what you're solving for. The E in this case would be a conversion factor. Could be an equation later on. The first S would be substituting in what you know, and then the last S would be the solution or the answer. That's literally what guess stands for. I am probably going to be getting away from that just because this school doesn't use that at all. In fact, they don't like to use the fence post. They like to use all the parentheses and the conversion factors. Not personally, do not. Do not. The first slide. So what you're trying to solve for, and it should be, if it's a conversion cross, if it's a fence post, it's going to be the top right-hand thing. That's what you're trying to change into. There are so many different ways to show you how to convert metrically. But this fence post thing, it works for all types of conversions. Moving the decimal, like doing the little jumpy thing, that really only works with metrics. It doesn't work for everything. This is the notes from today. Okay, maybe I should stop giving you guys notes to write on. What? Now somebody turned one into a paper airplane and threw it in here. Did you all get the last little bit? Jeremiah, did you get it? This is the top one. On the notes. I do it all day long too. Trust me, I'm ready for this to go away. I want to go back to everything paper. Fortunately, it's where we are. All right, has everybody got this first line? Yes.
Wait, no, I don't. No, I don't.
Well, that's what that is to fill in. It goes along with this. Now, like I said, I don't like, now, if you guys have note-taking assistants, if you have one of those modifications, and I hope I didn't miss you because I did it this morning, I sent you a link. I sent you a link to this. The only thing is if I add on to my slides, in order for you to get the updated notes, you have to make a fresh copy from the link. But I think this is the only one that's going to be on that particular chain, because we get to start up the atom. Oh, well, I don't know why I double animated it. All right, so most commonly used metric conversions. It's the prefix to the base that's the conversion. These are all for meters. Okay, an M by itself is a meter. A little m and a little m is a millimeter. The prefix is milli. And there are 1,000 millimeters in a meter. 10 to the third is 1,000. It's a 1 with 3 zeros behind it. That is what this means. It's 10 times 10 times 10. When you multiply powers of 10, you add the zeros together. 3 tens are 3 zeros. The second one is for centi, and 1 meter has 100 centimeters in it. And then the other big one that we're going to use, more often than not, is kilo. Kilo is bigger than a meter. As you go to the right, you're getting smaller. As you go to the left, you're getting bigger. When you were counting the jumps. As you go to the right, you move the decimal that many to the right. As you go to the left, you use the decimal that many to the left. That only works with metrics. I'm going to be showing you how to do this with these crosses. And honestly, as long as you show your work, I don't care if you do a conversion factor with the parentheses or if you do a fence post. I'm just used to using the fence post. This is the exact same thing, but for grams. Haley, too much paper. Get out, please. You need another one? You lost it. And then the last one is the same thing, but it's for liters.
Let me just take 3 out of those.
It's, oh, I'm telling you, it's the same thing. It's the prefix conversion. Because I have people go, oh, well, you didn't show us for liters because I normally show you with meters or grams. It doesn't matter the base unit. This could be seconds. It could be milliseconds. There's 1,000 milliseconds in 1 second. This could be hertz. This could be watts. This could be all different kinds of units. It's the prefix that determines where the conversion factor goes. Once again, it is the prefix. If the prefix is further to the right than the base, then the prefix keeps its number. The base keeps the 1. However, if the base is to the left on the number line, and I know those of you online, you can't see what I'm doing because I'm touching something on the board. But on the left, then this is bigger. So if I was going between gigawatts and watts, giga would have a 1, and then the watt would have 10 to the 9th, which is a billion. That's what giga means. If I was dealing with terabytes of memory, you have a really big hard drive. The byte is the base, tera is the prefix, but because tera is way bigger, it gets a 1. It gets the 1, then the base gets the trillion, which is 10 to the 12th. If you're dealing with something small, let's say we're dealing with micrometers. This guy's little, this guy's big. The bigger unit always gets the 1, the smaller unit always gets the conversion factor. This will always work. You just have to know who's bigger. So like with a ruler, which is bigger, a foot or an inch. So 1 foot is how many inches? That's one that you know. The conversion factor is 12. It goes to the smaller thing, which is the inch. I don't make you guys memorize conversion factors. You need to know how to use them. And the bigger thing always gets a 1, and the smaller thing always gets the conversion factor. At least with metrics. Yes.
So,
What? Work so.
when it says, what does the smaller unit always get? Do I just put
He gets the whatever the conversion factor is. And originally, when I did this in my notes, and I know most of you, I don't think you were here, I think you were still with Ms. Cowan, I had negatives up here. If you do dimensional analysis correctly, you don't have to worry about negatives because these will be where they're supposed to be. But like I said, I'm going to show you this. We have problems we're going to work through. Tomorrow is making sure you understand how to do multi-step, or possibly we have to go back to the beginning and do single step. If some of you, because I know over half of this class switched to me last week. Is it everybody ready? Yes? Oh, it's going to reanimate. Come on. All right, so this conversion cross. Now, if you want to add this on, you should be able to put it over here on the side because I didn't make enough space. But in a multi-step, if it's metric, you're going to have 2 prefixes. I'm specifically focusing on metric conversions. If it's a single step, it's 1 prefix and a base. So it's grams and then it's one of these others. But one of them is here in the middle. If If it's a two-step, you might be going between this and this. Or maybe even this and this. But if there's two prefixes, it is a multi-step conversion. This conversion cross. So like I said, I'm used to doing the guess method. The thing you start with in the problem, the thing that has a number in a unit will always go in this top left-hand block. And what you should do, just like we did with the opener, you should immediately diagonally down drop that unit. In this case, G stands for given. I just didn't have enough room. So if this is grams, well, it won't be for a multi. Let's say this is milligrams. Then this would be milligrams. But before I can go to the other prefix, I'd have to go to the base unit, which in this case would be a gram. So other base units, meter, liter, gram, second, watts, hertz. Trying to think off the top of my head. Those are going to be most of the ones. These honestly are physics. These are chemistry. And then in this case, it would be a gram. It needs to drop. And then you're going to whatever you're solving for, which is the unknown. These missing numbers, these come from your conversion factor. Just like we did with the opener. But you will be diagonally dropping, converting. If you have to go further, diagonally dropping, converting, and so on and so forth. You just need to know your conversion factors, which I don't make you guys memorize.
What?
Conversion factors. I mean, they'll be somewhere. I can't really change like what's on a test, but that doesn't mean that I can't put like either on the board or whatnot that there's 1,000 grams or 1,000 milligrams in a gram. There's 1,000 grams in a kilogram. They'll be somewhere because I don't make you memorize. I'm going to show you both ways. I've got like your hair. Oh, it's irritating. Y'all ready? Yes. Okay. I'm going to show both ways. You're going to just keep using your conversion factors. Remember, they can flip upside down until all that's left is what you're trying to solve for, which whether it's a conversion factor or it's a conversion cross, it's going to be the top right-hand thing. And like I said, I will show you both ways. We're going to do a couple of them together on your notes so that you have one that's worked out correctly. And then I have the assignment paper, which you can do online, but I printed them out. And honestly, I think most of you will probably want to do them on paper. And maybe you can make more copies. Let me make sure they don't have questions on that. I thought everybody was coming back today, like everybody. But apparently not. It was, and it's going to be still in here. I only have one empty seat, so there's 26 in this class right now. We used to have 9. Literally, we had 9. Oh, that's a good question. I'm not sure. You're supposed to have about 300 kids come back from remote today. I mean, alrighty. How many minutes there in 3.50 days? I'm going to go ahead and do this with the factor method first. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to, actually, I think I'm going to do them both on the same slide. Do the conversion cross. So what are you starting with?
The conversion cross.
No, but I mean, like in the problem, what okay, 3.50 days. Oh, I lost my smarting. Yours is different? Yours is what? Oh, here, well, I'll fix it. That's no problem. Is the other one say 2.75 centimeters? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Because it doesn't matter, like it's still going to be the same process. I just had a different number than what I put on your paper. All right, let's see if I can keep my smart ink. Why am I losing my smart ink? Stay, Smart Ink. There it goes. You know how my board is. Those of you that have been here, it's crazy. It decides when it does and does not want to behave. So I'm starting with 2.50. I'm just going to do the D for days, which is over 1. And so I know I'm going to go from days. And up here, you can only go from days to what? Hours. What number goes with the day? 1. And what number goes with the hour?
24.
Okay, I'm not in minutes yet. So I'm going to bring down hours. And do I have a way to go to minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. 1 hour is 60 minutes. That's the conversion factor method. And then you double check. I'm just going to do them both on one slide. I had it on the other one. But... So how would you solve this problem? 24 by 60. And I get 3,600. Are my sig figs right though?
No.
You can do it 2 ways. What's 3.60 times 10 to the third? Okay. Or you could put that bar over that first 0 and it would count it and not count the other one. Which, like I said, I hate those hanging bars. I also hate hanging decimals, but they do exist. To do the exact same thing in a conversion cross is the exact same thing. 2.50 days. I'm going to go from days to hours. And I'm going to go from hours to minutes. Cross out everything that you can. You do not need to divide by 1. It is the exact same thing. I don't care how you show your work. But for some reason, the parentheses seem to confuse y'all. So if these make more sense, then do them this way. That's actually the way that I have it shown on the homework paper. I do a 1-step and a multi-step. And it is, yes, there are some time questions on this assignment, but most of them are the metric system. Are there any questions on this one? No. Can I erase what's on the screen?
Yes.
Yes. See, I had set this up for the next one, but. Okay, how many micrometers are in 2.75 centimeters? Which way do you want me to show it? With the fence post or with the parentheses? Yeah. I hear both. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter. It's the same thing. I'll do the fence post first. Oh, I lost my sorting. Why it does this, I honestly do not know. I know Ms. Castleberry said that if I do stuff in PDF, that it actually likes the SmartInk much better than the Google Slides do. So, how many micrometers are there in 2.75 centimeters? How do you abbreviate centimeter? cm. So where is cm going to immediately go? Down here. Now, I can't go directly from centimeters to micrometers. I have to go to the base unit first. And what's the base unit? Meters. Okay, now, I'm going to rewrite these. Into the 6. It's the same thing. It's in scientific notation. That way you're not having to push a bunch of zeros in the calculator. Using the scientific notation one, who gets the 1? The meter or the centi? Meter gets a 1. How many centimeters are in 1 meter? 100, which is 10 to the second. The same thing. If you would rather write 100 there, you can. But centi is, there's 100 centimeters in 1 meter. But if you want to write 100 there, you can. The same thing. Where is meters going to go in the next step?
On the bottom.
Down here. And then this really is supposed to have a little tail, but Google Slides doesn't do Greek letters very well. It's a lowercase m. It's not English. It's a mu. And now, and like I said, the guy to the right is smaller. So here's the base and here's micro. The base is bigger. It keeps its 1. Micro is smaller. It keeps its conversion factor, which is 10 to the 6. Or if you really wanted to, you could write out, I'm missing a 0 on there. That is a typo. There should be an extra 0 on this. Oh, it's not going to let me. Yeah, but I don't want to move the thingy down. There we go. Now that's right. Y'all are my first class, so you get my mistake. Sorry. So how are you going to solve this? We have no more centimeters. We have no more meters. Well, now we got top and bottom.
You multiply the first two, then divide it.
So 2.75 times 10 to the 6th. Micrometer stays up, divided by 10 to the 2nd. Like that.
So what's the number in the center of the 10 to the power of 6? What's the actual number?
A million. It's 6 zeros. I just, when I was filling this in, I left off the place. When you are dividing in scientific notation, what do you do to the powers? Do you add or subtract them? Subtract. What is 6 minus 2?
4.
And that would be your answer. If you're multiplying with powers, you add them. Power exponent, whatever you want to call it. If you're dividing with exponents or powers, whatever you want to call it, you subtract the top minus bottom. And if you're subtracting a negative, what are you really doing? Adding. I'm going to
Why do
turn.
you put,
It's better.
color on my food?
You see what it is? I mean, I could, if you really wanted to, you could write out all the numbers. You could do 2.75 times a million divided by 100. And then you cancel out the zeros. So you take away 2 zeros from here, you would take away 2 zeros from there. I find it easier to do math if you keep everything in scientific notation by far. And yes, your calculator can help you. It just doesn't understand significant zeros. And the rule of thumb is however many you're starting with. In this case, I'm moving the decimal, so I didn't change anything. Is going to equal how many you end up with as far as significant concerned. Let's turn around. This assignment is in Canvas. For those of you that are online, it is there. I'm assuming everybody in here wants a paper copy, though? Yes. This is the actual assignment that you're doing. It is in Canvas. Go out. You want a paper copy too? Yes. I find it much easier, especially with math. Paper is your friend. I don't have to discourage it, but what?
Were we just supposed to allow that vote?
Which one? That one from Friday?
Yeah.
Nah, we didn't get to it in the other class either. So I was wanting to originally do it as extra credit, but you guys were working on notebooks and trying to get stuff taken care of, and it didn't work out. So I gave you the templates up top. I was even enough, nice enough to tell you how many steps are necessary to solve for life. Like I said, you can submit this on Canvas if you want to. I just know, but
Here we go.
you're in yours on Canvas? Okay.
Alright, go.
Now, it's a question of, honestly, I'm gonna stop my recording. Well, no, I'll leave it for a minute. It is more important to get your units down properly in the right spot, because the unit tells you where the number goes. If you notice, like, the 1 was stuck with the day and the 24 was stuck with the hour, it's not, there's 24 days in 1 hour. Because I won't make you memorize your conversion factors. So let's do, well, that's what I'm looking for. I mean, unless you guys want to pick one, they're really not that hard. Let's do number 9. Okay. I'm just gonna do it on the board. So, of course, my smart ink is gone again. I honestly do not understand why it does this to me. I do not have my smart ink. It doesn't like new people? Is it a bully? Smart ink's a bully. All right, so for number 9, you could pick really any of them. What are you starting with in number 9?
2.85
Times 10 to the, I write an E, times 10 to the 5th. And you're trying to change it into what? Years. So going bigger in time. What's bigger than the hour? All of your conversion factors are here. Days. Going bigger, what's bigger than the day? Can you get to year? Can you get to years from days? Look at the other side. Yes. Okay, now we're going to go back and we're going to fill in our conversion factors. How many hours are in 1 day? Yeah, I got this from the front of the paper. How many days are in a year? Days cancel, hours cancel. You do not need to multiply by 1. So what I'm left with is 2.85 times 10, which is E. That's what that means. Times 10 to the 5th, divided by, this is where people mess up. If you do not use parentheses, what your calculator will do is this top number divided by 24, it'll store an answer, and then it'll multiply that by 365. You have to use parentheses, or you can just multiply this out, and then whatever that is, divide that into the top number. So I get 2.85 E5 divided by parentheses 24 times 365. And what are y'all getting? No, 14's not right. And we want 3 numbers in our answer too. I know it's going to be in years. Well, I need to make sure that you guys know how to use these, because they do you no good if you do not know how to use them. The bell's about to ring. What are y'all getting? You don't know.
This is good for you studying.
It's 0.0341383061.
No. It's not. The calculator spits this out. It keeps going and going and going. But it needs to be rounded and it has to have a unit. Well, we are working on problems tomorrow in class. So if you get stuck, tomorrow is the time to ask. Bye-bye.